Hello, my name is Annabelle, but most people know me as La Maestra Loca. I am so excited that you decided to purchase this resource for talking about global cultures celebrating New Year's for your world language classroom. I think it's really important to remember that we are world language teachers, and it's our responsibility, in my opinion, to teach about world cultures, not just target language cultures. And celebrations is an easy way to access that. It's actually our theme of the month in La Familia Loca, and this is one of the resources that I developed this month to share with them. Monthly resources is just one of the benefits of my PLC community. If you're interested in learning more, you can just email me. But this is one of the resources that I put out for them this month, and I'm totally in my pajamas because I just did their monthly workshop. So I was like, do I want to put on a La Maestra Loca dress? No, I'm going to do this in my jammies. So this is called a one-stop shop document. And this is what you will receive once you've purchased the resource. You'll notice that it is not pages and pages. It is the guide, which I'm going to talk you through right now. You will also receive a written guide, but then you'll see this page. And this page, all of these links are clickable. So if you click on English, it's going to automatically download this resource as a force copy in English. If you click on the French, force copy in French, force copy in Spanish, etc. There are 3 resources included in this: New Year's Eve around the world, the slides for it, vocabulary sheet to help you guide you through the resource and using it, and then a sequencing reading activity. All of these are in English, French, and Spanish because that's what I have to do in my community because I have lots of different teachers of many different languages. Unfortunately, I have more than just English, but the English people can translate. And let's get started. Make sure you don't save this resource in a shared drive, please. I know that it's in my terms of use, but since you have purchased one license for this, this should be for only you. All right, let's dig into these resources. This is what the slide deck will look like. So I'm going to show you the Spanish example because I teach Spanish, but the slide deck is identical, just translated for French teachers and Spanish teachers. So New Year's Eve, the first prompt asks them how they celebrate New Year's Eve. So ideally, you could do this with a card talk. That's what I do. If you don't know what card talk is, I encourage you to look it up. There are many blogs out there on card talk, but the kids should draw an image of how they celebrate it. And then you, using the strategies of acquisition-driven instruction and personalizations, you ask them using the target language about that and incorporate the students in your classroom and how they celebrate into the to intro this unit. And then you can jump into traditions in your community. I included traditions in New Orleans because that's where I'm from. That's where my students are from. You could absolutely add slides since this is a forced copy. You can add slides, edit them. You can keep the New Orleans stuff or add your own in. And then I go in to talk about New Year's Eve in Spain. I included this slide because I've taught about that before. And in case you have, I went ahead and added it because a lot of people go immediately to Spain for the grapes. There's a little video for you to watch, another little video for you to watch. I always tell my students that this is my friend. Every year I find a new video. And I'm like, this is my friend Maria. This is my friend Manolo. And I tell them that not only did my friend send me this video, but they also sent me 12 grapes. And I buy raisins and I bring in the raisins and I say, oh no, the grapes shrunk. They shrunk over break and now they don't even look like grapes anymore. And the kids are like, Maestra, my middle schoolers used to be so rude. They were like, these are raisins. They didn't send you any grapes. But elementary, they're like, oh no, how gross. And I'm like, should we still try and eat them with the 12 grapes? So kids love this. And it's fun to watch this video of this family in Spain doing this while you're eating grapes. So that's fun. And then I go through other countries, Japan and what they do, Brazil and what they do in the new year. Denmark and what they do in the new year, all very intentionally created so that you can talk about celebrations around the world when it comes to New Year's Eve. And then wrapping up with what was your favorite. Now, like I said, that's not the only resource in this. There's also an opportunity for a write and discuss in case you're a person who really enjoys doing write and discuss with your class at the end. You can do that. And then if you come over to the new vocabulary, I've used this before as I've presented to my kids when I was doing it with my middle schoolers, for example. You can hand them this sheet, and as they learn the new vocabulary, because these are all out of bounds words, they're not high frequency words necessarily, but they're needed to understand the content that you're presenting. So you can have them illustrate above the word. And then after you're done presenting, they can circle in these colors based on which one went with which country. For example, they're going to circle in green all the vocabulary that goes specifically to Denmark, circle in red all the things that go specifically to Spain, circle it in blue all the ones for Brazil, etc. And then they can summarize their favorite in English. Then there's that section for the card talk. And since there's a video in there for Spanish teachers on from Dreaming Spanish, you can summarize from there. If you don't follow Dreaming Spanish or Ali Sayel for French teachers, so good. Great YouTubers and amazing comprehensible content. Now, this is the other resource for you. Nochevieja en España, Nochevieja en Japón, and Denmark and Brazil, right? So there's 4 titles there. With this resource, you want to chop it all up. Every single sentence, every single chunk needs to be on its own little tiny piece of paper. You chop it up, and then the kids, instead of sequencing, this is what I do all the time with sequencing activities, this is a reading activity for categorizing. So after you've presented all the information, the next day the kids come in, or if you are a teacher, high school teacher who has block classes, this is a perfect activity to do on a block period. You can present all the information and then boom, here's chopped up sentences. Those are the titles. And then all of these sentences go under one of those countries. So then they would sort together in small groups or in pairs or alone. That's a lot of papers for you to chop though. They would sort into the different categories where they go. I hope you love these ideas. I'm really excited that you decided to get this resource for you and your students. I'm sorry I didn't get it out sooner, but I was busy taking my own advice from my podcast and really resting with my family over break. I decided to not do anything at all work related, and that's why only tonight I just released these resources to Familia Loca, and I was like, okay, I'm going to make this resource for TPT. So I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you find joy and experience joy with your students as you introduce them to all these world and global cultures, because it's really important to keep in mind we are world language teachers. We should not just be teaching our target language. It's really powerful to bring these other global cultures to our students to open their minds and help teach them how to be respectful, open, and curious about other people's, other cultures, other identities. I hope you have a wonderful new year with your students. Happy 2023, or gosh, I guess if you buy this in the future, happy whatever year it is. And thank you for letting me support you and your students in your classroom. Adios.